think people are giving Michael a lot of credit here, right? They're saying, hey man, stepping in, short notice, but what about you? I mean, you're going from one, all-time great to another on short notice as well. You feel like people maybe got to give you a little respect as well?
I mean, it doesn't matter to me, but yeah, I mean, it would be cool if I get a little bit of credit too for stepping up and accepting the fight. And I mean, this would be my third or fourth former champion that I fight in a row. So, or not in a row, but in the last 12 months, I think. This is. I don't think people have been giving me credit for the fights that I've been taking in the last 12 months. This will be my third main event in a row. I'm just riding the wave. Yeah.
No doubt. Give me the idea of what it was like for you, because Anderson Silva, obviously a legend of the game. I mean, this is the fight that you've been tracking for a while.
Yep.
It falls apart, and I got to think, on as short a notice as it was, you got to think, who's even out there? Who's going to fight me on this show? So give me what the roller coaster was like, man.
Oh God, it was insane. I wake up. I remember Friday morning. I'm looking. I do what everybody does. I look through my phone in the morning, and I'm like, USADA flag. Anderson, oh, what? And that's what my Friday morning was like. And then I called my manager, like, what the heck is going on? And he's like, yeah, he got flagged by USADA. He got pulled from the fight, and immediately I got sick to my stomach. I mean, I didn't feel good. I did not feel good. I got a little sick to my stomach is what happened. A million thoughts ran through my head. I didn't know if the fight was going to fall through. I didn't know if the whole card was going to fall through. I didn't know who were they going to try and replace Anderson with. I didn't want to go from fighting the greatest of all time to fighting Joe Schmo. That just wouldn't make sense for me, for my career. I want to keep making steps forward, not making steps backwards. So, I mean, just a whole 24 hours of freaking this, because a million thoughts ran through my head. But, Saturday afternoon, I get the call that Mike Bisping might be an option. I'm like, yeah, right. He's going to accept the fight after fighting George. Sure enough, they sent me the contract. It said Michael Bisping's name on it. I'm like, oh, all right, let's sign it and send it back. And I was really happy that we got a replacement. I'm really happy that Mike stepped up. I mean, how badass is he? So I'm happy. I feel this is actually an even bigger fight for my career.
Interesting. I mean, obviously no animosity. You're thanking him for stepping in there, but so how do you get the focus ready? To shift from Anderson Silva to Michael Bisping. You're preparing for one guy. Now you got to take this other guy. You kind of got some good feelings for him. You're happy that he's stepped in there. How do you get yourself game ready and ready to take on a challenge like that?
This far out from the camp, this far out, we're mentally, physically ready for battle. So the opponent doesn't make a difference. I am ready to go with anybody, anytime, anywhere. That was just my mentality. I'm ready physically, mentally. So the changeup wasn't that big. Obviously we got to switch a little bit of the strategy. But at this point, this far out, not much changes.
When you broke down his fight with GSP, like you said, I mean, I'm sure you were watching, everybody was. What did you think of his performance? Because there were some good things in it, there were some bad things in it, and he's admitting that he's getting close to the end, but what did you see when you broke it down?
Yeah, I saw just regular Michael Bisping doing what Michael Bisping does. He came to fight. It was a battle back and forth with George. I mean, George was bloodied up, and so was Mike. But I feel like he was a little hesitant because of the takedown that George was, or he was worried about the takedown. You can kind of tell he was a little bit more crouched down with his stance fighting. He wasn't initiating in George's face like he usually is in a lot of his fights.
Mike admitted he basically took this fight because he wanted to get that taste out of his mouth of that GSP fight. I wonder for you, man. I mean, obviously, I know you could have been feeling too good about the last fight. Has it been in your mouth the last couple months that you're like, man, I gotta get rid of this feeling?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, coming off loss, I mean, it's not cool. I've never had 2 losses in a row. I don't ever want it to happen. I don't ever want to lose, period. But it motivates you. It sparks the fire in your ass when you lose. because you don't want it to happen again. So that's exactly what happened. You know, I'm fired up, I'm hungry, man. I'm ready for this fight.
When you talk about it maybe being a better fight, is that, you know, because of the rankings? I mean, this is, you know, Anderson, one of the greatest of all time, but here you got a guy in Mike that was the champ a couple weeks back.
Exactly. I mean, just a few weeks ago, I mean, I feel Mike's value in the company is really high. Not that Anderson's isn't. I just feel like he was more of on the decline than Michael Bisping is, you know. And you know, he's the former champion, and just one of the greatest in our sport. I feel a lot of people follow him. He has a big following. So this is a bigger fight, a higher ranking as well. So it's a bigger fight for my career. And
when you win the fight, does this prove you're a middleweight? I mean, I know you're always toying with the idea of going back to welterweight, but I mean, you beat a guy that was the champ. You're going to be up there in those discussions, right?
Yeah, I got to be up there in those discussions, whether I fight for the middleweight title or the welterweight title. You know, I've always had my eyes set on that welterweight title rematch with Tyron, or not title rematch, but that fight, the rematch with Tyron. I've always had my eyes set on that, you know. But you know, I win this fight, I might have permanently cement myself as a middleweight, you know, whether I like it or not.
Yeah, I mean, why put yourself through that? I mean, why keep that 170 goal in mind when it seems like you're getting pretty comfortable at 185? I mean, like you said, getting better, getting strong. I mean, why even think about that 170?
Well, you know, first I am a little. I'm gonna admit it. I am a little bit salty on the Tyron Woodley fight. You know what I mean? I am a little hurt still after all these years. You know, I want that rematch. I know I can beat him. You know, and I know that I can make the weight. You know, I was immature, I was young and stupid, you know, and I feel I've grown from all those experiences. You know, there's been a lot of trial and error in my career. I mean, when I fought him, I was 23 years old. So it's just a lot of trial and error in my career. And finally, we're putting all the experiences together. You know, this will be my 13th UFC fight, and putting all those experiences, the good, the bad, and making something that hopefully works.
Would you fight him if he came up to 185, or does it have to be for that title?
It has to be for the title, I feel. Yeah, now that he's the champion, I want to take it from him.
Nice. Well, let's talk about it.
But let me say that I respect Tyron. You know, as a person, as a fighter, I respect him. You know, it just doesn't sit here well.
Not personal, just professional.
Yes.
Nice. All right. Well, maybe that's on the future. If it's not, and 185 is, where do you think this does put you? Because it's just such an interesting time, right? You got George St. Pierre holding the belt. Nothing against George. I don't know if he wants any piece of Robert Whittaker. You know, there's
right.
Other people out there. How are you seeing the whole title situation play out?
It's interesting because you don't know what George is going to do. You know, I don't know if he's going to fight because he's going to go back down and fight Tyron. I don't know if he's going to defend the belt and unify the belt with Robert. You don't know what's going to happen. You know, he said it himself. The MMA game is such an unpredictable game. Anything can happen. You know, any fighter can fall through, just like we've seen these past couple weeks. You know, so anything can happen. So we'll just have to wait until after the fight, see what options are planned out.
All right, well, first things first, obviously you got to win this fight.
Yeah.
Do you think about the historic nature of this? I mean, it's the first UFC event, mainland China. You know, it's kind of a big deal, right?
It's a pretty big deal, man. I'm excited. I'm excited because it gives me that same kind of feel when I co-headlined the Mexico card. You know, it was a historical card, first fight in Mexico City. And you know, I mean, a few years, you fast forward a few years later, and all these Mexican stars are popping up. You know, and Mexico is one of the biggest markets, I think, for the UFC. So I feel now we're doing the same thing here in China, which is an even bigger market with a lot more money and a lot more population. So this is going to be huge for the UFC. It's going to be huge for me, for my career.
Very cool. Well, you got to get the win Saturday.
Yep.
How do you get it done? I mean, we know what Michael Bisping does. One of the all-time greats. He's been doing it forever. I mean, where do you see your advantages? How do you think you get this done?
You know what? I just feel I'm a little bit better than Mike anywhere the fight goes. You know, I mean, he's got great boxing, but I feel my boxing is going to be a little bit better and a little bit sharper. He's got good wrestling, but you know, I'm a wrestler. I wrestled for a long time. I'm a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, so I feel I have the advantage on the ground as well. He will have a little bit of a size and strength advantage, you know, as so has everybody else in the middleweight division against me, you know. So, you know, you just gotta find the right strategy, I think.